YouTube. Welcome everyone to this slightly delayed starting live stream from Coventry, UK, and Kolkata in India. This is a experimental workshop event, I'd say, that's been a long time coming. We were hoping to do it really at the start of this year, and then because of COVID, we've had to kind of delay. So we're really pleased to, as kind of close as possible, get our amazing artists and curator from India together with our UK based artists, Jim Woodall, Amy and Oliver Thomas Irvine, Zoe Petrie, and Rachael Champion, who is our other artist, unfortunately, couldn't be here today. So she is live streaming from Margate. Hi, Rachel. I think the thing that I guess I really want to say is that we're interested in sharing skills and kind of exploring how to kind of make collectively. This is a collaborative project that we've been working on to design a site-specific sculpture for Coventry that will be realised kind of next June. And over the course of this year, we've been exploring different ways to continue an international collaboration in very difficult circumstances. We were lucky enough to receive some support from the British Council and Coventry City of Culture to explore and kind of test ideas around international collaboration. And we've also been part funded by the Arts Council and the Heritage Lottery Fund and the Lottery Players. So just want to extend my thanks to all of them. This is really going to be driven by Nandita and Dolon out in India. So I think without further ado, I would hand over to them to kind of introduce the workshop, and we can begin.
Okay, hi, very early morning for you guys. We seem to have lost your link in the sense that we can't see you anymore. However, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well, yes, and we can see you.
But we can't see you anymore. However, let me continue.
We will work, we'll work on the tech for that in the background. Okay.
So let me just begin with, kind of putting Dolon and the other artists who know each other well by now to say hello, Dolon. And with us today is Kamar, Shyam. And Shyam is trained in the traditional Kumartuli style of working, and he's going to participate as a partner with Dolon to be able to enact the making of a hand. Now, before we begin, I'd just like to explain the steps that we are going to take today overall, so that you have an overview of what we are attempting. So what we have on the floor are all the ingredients that will go into making the hand. We will begin with making the armature that will be clad with straw, and then the first layer of clay will be put on. And in the interest of maximizing the time and making better kind of use of the time and space that we have, what we have for you are these ready hands, which are at different stages. So what we'll do is, after making the armature, cladding the straw, and putting the first layer of the clay, move on to this hand, which is, can you just focus please? Which is semi-finished, and then begin to work on this hand for the second stage. And finally, when this hand reaches this hand's condition, then Dolon will add the final touches of embellishment onto this stage. So these are all just 3 different stages of making one hand. So we will now begin with creating the armature. Shuru karo.
I'm just gonna jump in, if that's all right, and say, just to the artists here, if you've got specific questions, You can kind of give me a nod or raise your hand and I'll bring the mic over to you. The other thing, it might be too late, Nandita, is the reason that you can't see us is that you need to be connected to your screen should be looking at the Zoom. Is this right? Oh, okay.
We could see all this one.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. You can see us now, can you?
But in a very small version of it. You can't see a large version. Just in the corner a little bit.
So because how it's going out on the stream, the big screen will always focus on whoever's kind of doing the demonstration. So once we've looked at what you're doing, we can switch the screens and then we can, the camera can focus on the artist here replicating what you're doing. So at the minute, do you want to kind of talk us through what's going on? Should we just be watching? Should the artist be kind of doing anything?
I think they can also start building the armature in the same way. Dolon, তুমি স্টেপ আগে বলো এই কার্ডটা নিলে দেখাও না তো ওরা কি করে বুঝছে
So are these specific lengths important?
Yes, so they're just cutting it down to the size. See, all of them are being cut to this size. This size, in order to make a hand.
Is that about elbow to fingertips?
What? No, this is the entire armature that's going to be inside the hand. The fingers will not have it now.
Okay. And how many of them does go into each armature?
Inte lagbe 3 of this size.
Okay.
Three of this size to make the base.
Okay, so that's a base. Okay.
Then the height will show you that goes into the hand, which will be out. These will be east-west.
I mean, see how you feel, but yeah. What do you need? Huh? Yeah. It's basically a solid base. This is the thin. I'll see what's in here.
আমরা ওখান থেকে দুটো হ্যাঁ পাঁচটা বললাম তো পাঁচটা নিচে নিচে নেওয়া হবে হয়ে যাবে হ্যাঁ হয়ে যাচ্ছে বড়
So this is the kind of frame that they are trying to build now. So there are 2 pieces at the bottom and 3 across.
না এটা চওড়া আছে তো তাই জন্য বললাম চেক করতে
use that drill, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah? So now that they've been cut, they are hammering it together to make the base of the hand. দোলন তুমি ঠিক তার উপরে চড়ে উঠে ওরা কি করে দেখবে?
নালে হবে না তো এই যে আড়াই ইঞ্চি
Jim is amazed that there's hammering going on next to barefoot.
আড়াই ইঞ্চি
Yeah, I've just brought them out. Yeah.
এটা নরম না দিদি এটা কেন এরকম শক্ত মাটিতে
There are more sauce. Do you want to get some others out? Will it reach? This is like
So the base is ready. How far have you guys got?
Nandita? Nandita?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can the base have flat plate on it, or does it need the gaps?
You just leave the gaps, but you could have a flat thing. There
Okay.
is no.
Okay.
behind David.
You could just have a ready-made, piece. Wood. Now they're going to show you how they fix the pieces of bamboo.
Can if you could, would you mind just waiting for us to catch up and
Okay.
finish our bases? That would be great. But there is a question from Rachel who just would like to let everyone know that she has a chop saw. And so she's running slightly ahead here. But the question was, in terms of the armature, are there pieces that of bamboo or timber that run all the way into the fingers, or do they just go to the palm?
Okay. It just goes into the palm, not to the fingers. The fingers are made differently. There won't be wood in it because this is off the scale. If it was a large one, then you would have to put.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, if you
Now-
can let these guys just finish their bases, that would be.
Can you just focus what you're doing, because we can't see any of your work?
If we could switch the screens now, that would be great.
Can't we just see both? Like it was at the beginning. Yeah,
I'll check with the team here.
But a tiny little. Okay. So now we can see what you're up to.
হ্যাঁ এটা ফুটো করা হবে এর মধ্যে ঢোকাবে হ্যাঁ দরকার না ওরা আমাদের করেই কাজ করলে সুবিধা হয় তো
So Nandita, can you see us now on full screen?
Absolutely. And I can give a good prize to the one who's finished first.
Is it a race?
Why can't we see Rachel?
Why can't you see Rachel?
Yes, she asked for a Zoom link and she's on the Zoom, I think, on the same call.
It doesn't actually work. She's joining through the YouTube stream because otherwise we'd have issues with locking in the cameras between Kolkata and Coventry, and it could jump to her.
Okay.
So I will be her voice, and she will communicate via WhatsApp.
Zoom call. Okay. So where are we? Yes, Oliver is doing something. What Shyam is suggesting is that if Oliver uses his feet to lock the piece down, then he will get a much quicker. Yes, yes, that's right. But somebody's blocking my view of him, probably Jim. Thank you.
আমাদের কিন্তু আমাদের কত শক্ত কাজ হবে না দিদি হ্যাঁ হালকা
Is what you're using pine wood?
There's a mix of pine, ply, scraps.
Because the wood be strong, because when you drill into it to put in the bamboo, then it shouldn't split. This what I can see, it looks rather flimsy wood.
So have you got a hardwood? What's your base?
Yeah, we've just got thick hardwood. Let's see how it goes.
Oliver says it's structural plywood, so it should be fine.
Yeah. So should we start putting the pieces of bamboo?
Yes. Yeah. Do you want to demonstrate the next bit? That would be great.
Okay. So start. You see, this sort of a instrument, do you have something like this, like a drill?
Yeah, we've got drill.
Okay, so focus karo.
পা দিয়ে
I think the drill bits are over there, otherwise I have to find some more if I've got the right one.
So he's drilling the center piece of wood.
What size?
Yeah, he's going to show you. Yeah. Can you get that?
So it's basically it's a tight fit for the bamboo to go inside.
Yeah. Just watch what she does. They split it.
They split the bamboo.
Just just follow exactly verbatim the way they're doing. Because this is really the base.
Yeah.
ছোট কাজ একটা কাজ শুধু মাঝখানে একটা
Okay. Now they are splitting the bamboo.
হ্যাঁ ওদেরটা ছোট্ট করে দেখা যাচ্ছে।
The biggest we. There is some of the green bamboo.
Be about 16-inch size. So in Kumartuli, they use the system of measuring is by the hands, by the fingers, by the span of the hand, the measurement up to the elbow. That's the size of the bamboo you have to split to. About 16 inches.
So Nandita, the bamboo that we can grow in the UK is much thinner. I think the stuff that we've got here is maybe 20 mil in diameter. So it's probably. Do you think it's better not to split it and just use the bamboo as it is? Maybe should we show you one of the pieces? Huh? Yeah, and then maybe show these wooden poles as well and see if they're any better. Because basically we could use some like flat, thicker bits of timber or thinner bamboo. And I don't know if you can see Amy's got this kind of pole of pine as well. What do you think would be best?
One hand and cut it to 16, roughly 16 inches. Even one circular piece is enough.
Oh, we can't hear you very well actually. You've gone quite quiet.
Can you hear?
No, the volume's dropped out.
Can you hear now?
Yes, that's better.
Suggesting is that for one of the hand you can use the piece of timber cut to about 16 to 17 inches, and for the another one we can try the bamboo. So just one piece of bamboo would be enough. You don't have to put two.
Okay.
Shyam, বাঁশটাকে কি half করে নেবে?
না না গোটাটাই ছুচলো মুখটা।
Yeah, সেটা তো এটাও করবে দেখবে ওরা। Now the Now the object of the exercise is to get the bamboo to fit the circle. Lucy?
Yes, okay. We can hear
So,
you. Yeah.
In our case, the bamboo is flat and wide. We're going to chisel it to a point. So the way Jim is doing it is fine. So whatever works. You know, you can just hammer it in a bit so that it's really firm, because that will take the weight of the entire thing.
Okay.
Okay. The way we are doing it here is like this.
They're chiseling the bottom to a point.
So he's just getting it to fit the hole.
Okay. How strong are they? Because they are quite a bit straight on the...
If you ask the bamboo that they're using, the bamboo you're using, is it pretty thick? Is it quite structural?
Yes.
Okay, because the bamboo we've got is pretty thin.
Solid from the bamboo and hollow. So.
তাহলে
Now, just to secure the bamboo, they are going to nail it in as well, because the entire weight of the hand will be on this little thing. Yeah, so they are now nailing it in. Wow, ulta bachi. So it looks quite secure at the moment. Now, can we have a look at your screen, please?
Yes. So Nandita, it's actually really unusual to have bamboo in the country, and it just so happens that Imagineer, whose space we're in, have been running a kind of separate bamboo project, exploring kind of the material properties of bamboo and kind of what can be grown here, as opposed to in India, Ghana, Bali. So this is kind of locally sourced bamboo. From the UK, but it has, but yeah, it's
I remember
it's much thinner than yours.
And they had got really thick Indian kind of bamboo, but it probably was imported from somewhere. Not sure.
Yes, yeah, you can definitely still get thicker imported bamboo, but this particular project that I'm referring to was kind of exploring what could be grown here, thinking in terms of kind of like it being used as a sustainable alternative to other timbers.
এই বাঁশটা বড্ড লম্বা না? This is Oliver's hand that I can see, because that piece of bamboo looks too long for the base. It shouldn't be more than 18 inches at best.
Shouldn't be more than 18 inches in height. 18 inches, so that's...
Could you put your arm next to your bamboo to measure the height so we can see it in relation to your body?
I didn't get that. Can you repeat it?
Oh, could one of you just put your arm next to the bit of bamboo that you've cut so we can see the height in relation to someone's body?
Yeah, he can just put his hand. So it's one span, 4 fingers, and another 2 fingers.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna cut ours down.
We're getting a ruler, so we'll give you in. Jim,
I think Jim was saying it's quite nice to actually use hands and do away with tape measures and things like that.
And then 2 fingers more. And 2 fingers, yeah. So you can cut it there. I think this one is okay.
আমাদের এরকম করার আছে আস্তে আস্তে করে বসে উঠতেছি
Yeah, it looks fine, Jim.
ঠিক আছে
Yeah, very
ঠিক
nice.
আছে ও হয়ে যাবে
Okay, and is it securely put?
Yeah, I put 2 nails.
Just turn it around. Sit up.
He's secured it with nails as well.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. So is everybody at this stage?
Everybody ready? Just give them one more minute.
I think Amy's is a better example. Looks more like a drawer.
They can't hear you in the shoot. Hang on.
Put them together. Yeah. So here's all 3 of them, Nandita. Well, there's a 4th coming.
Okay.
Stop it.
It's secure, right?
Yeah. So we've got 1, 1,
Two,
2,
four.
3, 4. There we go. All right.
We have a very handy workshop. Okay. So let's move to the next stage, which is actually putting the. So the string, string.
Okay.
In order to take it out, they're just kind of tying it to the legs of a table that's neat.
Is that natural string? I can't see what it is. Is it?
It's jute string.
টাইট করে দেবো দিকে
Oh, it's jute. Okay, we'll get some string.
And the orange stuff will be fine as well. That's yucca.
So just cut a low length.
Yeah.
Did you ask her how long that each stem?
How long are the lengths? Are they about 1 metre? I would say you're a metre.
Or could we use the body again? To like measure how long it is on do like a leg length?
খড় বাঁধবো
Could you give us an indication of the length of the string in relation to your body, please?
Right,
Is it the same height as Dolon?
can you see?
একদম
Taller than Nandita.
Okay, so about that's all. All right, that's fine.
বেশি আছে
There should be little scissors in that Tupperware next to it.
Cool. I'll just cut a load of this then.
I assume it's to bind the straw to the arm.
About 8 feet, so 2 meters and 2/3.
Okay.
এটা তো অ্যাকচুয়ালি করে দেওয়ালের সঙ্গে খুঁটির সঙ্গে আমরা বাঁধি লম্বা লম্বি থেকে
Once you've done some, I can do some more so that you guys can.
So the strings have to be handy because they are the strings that are used to bind straw.
Did you ask how many we think they'll need for each?
How many do you think each of them will need? The same. Will each of them need the same amount that you've got there?
Use all of it, but I can't give you such an estimation. It's
Okay.
just organic as we go. Sometimes you need to bind something tighter, sometimes, there's nothing prescribed as such.
Okay. Well, once you've got some done, then I can do some more for you while you're binding your
Okay.
straw.
না খড়গুলো সব এক জায়গায় জড়ো করে রেখে দিই টান করে দিবি সবগুলো খুলে আগে টান করে রাখতে হবে আরেকটু হবে না জলদি একটু ভেজে
So if I can just mention something about the straw we've got here, I prepared a few different types of straw. So I think one thing to note is that ours is likely to be a bit coarser and thicker than yours. So what
If
did
you show
last?
us your screen and we can see the straw, then we can tell you how to kind of, adapt it.
Okay, should we just go round and show them the straw while these guys are swinging out their string? Is that a good idea, or should we wait?
We need a bigger screen. It's a tiny little screen, can't see anything.
Okay, all right. Maybe
Switch cameras.
Yeah, can you switch to one of these cameras? But can you move it around to look at these different?
No, we need the bigger size of your feed. Like you were just showing when the hammering was.
Yeah.
So
Has it been?
This
has it switched? It should have switched.
yeah, it has.
Okay, I think maybe there's just a slight lag then.
All right. So this one kind, okay.
Can
so
we?
this looked
I
fine
can't see.
and
I can't see what they're seeing. Hang on. Sorry, I'm just gonna come over so I can see. Yeah, can we take one of the cameras by hand and go around to the back or not?
No, not really. We can zoom in.
Okay. Maybe should I bring it up? Should I bring it over? Okay. I'll bring it over to the camera. Just bear with me. Can you see it? So this is we've got a few different types here. This is the straw that we.
similar to what we have, just lighter color.
Okay. I was worried it would be a bit kind of thicker and stiffer, but that's good if it's about the same. So what we've done anyway is that we've got some dry. I dampened some up last night as well to make it more flexible, and then there's some similar straw that's a bit more kind of crushed, which might be a bit more similar to what you guys are holding there. So I thought one thing that we wanted to do really from our end was kind of see how the straw we have here kind of translates and how kind of, compare and contrast it to what you've got there.
So you can use all of these one on each hand and see what happens. There's not going to be any difference in the treatment of time because of the quality of the straw.
Okay. Do you dampen yours down at all, or is it not really necessary?
It's not necessary because you want it to be strong and sweet.
Okay.
They'll just, here what we do is just sprinkle some water on the straw, but not soak it.
Okay.
Fancy spray which they use in Kumartuli. এগুলো দেখাও।
Is it not working with scissors?
Move on to this big roll here. Yeah, and then these all straggly bits as well. So yeah. How much more do we need? I think loads. And you just put it in a.
I think they basically you can just grab one, pull it out, and then find it, and then knot it to the one before, and keep.
Just for like grab.
Just for ease, so you don't have to come move. I think you'll each need your straw next to where you're sitting. So you can, sorry, your string, so you can grab it without moving.
So you're making like a machine. Stuff like that.
It's quite nice, that stuff.
Okay. And you just come off.
Okay, to do more.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
রোল করা আছে এর মধ্যে বান্ডিল করা আছে। একভাবে এরকম করে নিচ্ছ, নিয়ে কাঠি দিয়ে কেটে দিবে। হাতে শুধু করে
Lucy, Shyam has a suggestion on how to do this string cutting in a more way. Just have a look.
এবং পা দিয়ে রেখে দে, হাতে করে পা দিয়ে ভালো।
Okay, they're watching.
একজন বড় না ওদের
What?
তাহলে পা দিয়ে দেখাতে হবে, পায়ে বস এরকম করে রেখে দে।
Oh, I got them to one cut. Yeah. Thank you. That's a much faster.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's more efficient. It looks like a circus to me.
It's a good idea.
হাত দিয়ে দেখো।
It's easy when you know how, Nandita.
এরকম করে বসে এই দুটো এরকম করে নিবে, এরকম করে এটা আরো সহজ। একা একা হয়ে
Should you do it around your elbow, just one person as well, like that? And then cut it once.
বছরের জন্য চলে আসবে।
But as in, fine, do loads and then cut it once and you've cut. As in, turn it.
আমরা প্রথমে এরকম করতাম। কি করছি ওরা ওই কাছে চলে টানটা অবস্থায় থাকতে হবে, যেন মনে কাজ হচ্ছে। তা তো বলে না দিদি। এই অলিভার বুঝেছি। Yes.
Well, I mean, you don't only sleep outside the night. This reminds me of the sausages that we made in the.
আজকে ওই জায়গাটাই ওদের খুব প্রিয়, কিন্তু আগে ভালো এক একদিন ভালো কিন্তু ভালো বাঁধতে পারে। একটা বুঝে প্র্যাকটিস করলে যদি দেখলাম না দিদি এখানে এরকম করে করা হতো আর কি, আমি এটা করতে খুব পারছিলাম, আরো সাজানো এত সুন্দর করে করা যেত। পাখিটা খুব বড় হতো, গাছ দিয়ে ডিজাইন করে কাঠা নয় তো। না আমি বলেছি কি করে
No, I don't do extensive. That's it. Got it?
অ্যাকোবাটিক খেলতে যেত, ঠিক আছে না ও সেদিনই বলো তোমার দিকে দিন করে। হ্যাঁ
Basically, like you're going to use this to bind around the straw.
Yeah, we'll keep it this way.
And then once you run to the end of the lecture, probably you'll have to like knot it or add another piece in. So it's really like what's manageable.
আচ্ছা
Are you feeling like you might have enough?
I think the. So I put this in mixes.
Okay, they're feeling confident they've got enough string.
Okay, so কোনটা?
জড়িয়ে গেছে পুরো।
I think Jim, your strings have got a bit twisted. So when you pull one, like the way it's doing, a lot of them will start coming out. So the way camera এখানে focus করো, ও কিভাবে বার করছে।
Okay.
I'll make a little.
So tie it tight near one end, is that right? And that will help?
And they shouldn't be kind of, you know, কি দেখাচ্ছে? অনেকবার করেছি। Okay, so let's begin the tying up.
এবার আবার পাটা একটু জল দিতে হবে।
So first the straw just, they have to sprinkle some water.
So that straw, check it now. I think that should be quite damp still. It's drying out. And then that bag is quite straw.
ওরা না পারুক, তুমি এখানে অত দিও না। ওরা
Yeah, yeah.
কিন্তু দিদি আমার প্রচুর এইটাকে ভিজিয়ে নিয়ে দিয়ে গরম করে তারপরে আমাকে ভিজিয়ে রেখে
ওরাও তো তাই।
রেখে দিই শিশিরটা পুরো ভিজে যায় দিয়ে সেটা সকালবেলা
ওর কাঠটাই তো বুঝি।
Okay, some water here if you need it in this one.
Should we start binding the straw? Yeah, ready? Bolu. Okay. Maybe exchange करना. So for the process, you usually need two people because one will hold the straw and the other will tie it.
Okay, we'll watch first. Should we watch first?
Yeah.
We'll watch you do one first.
So just watch him for a bit and then you start following it. So he's just cutting the straw into half.
Was that with his foot? He's got a blade in his foot.
So he cut it with that on his...
On his foot?
No, not on his foot.
But I mean with his foot. Did he hold?
On the wooden frame. Yeah, he held it down with his foot.
I'll give that a go.
Yeah, he's showing it to you again. So he just holds the knife with his foot and uses both his hands to cut. Okay? Cut the apni.
I think maybe.
I think that would be safe because you can hold that bit with your foot and then.
He's feeling very proud of the way he's charlied.
Everyone here is very impressed.
So he's like taking it to the level of a performance at the moment.
I think when they want to add bulk, sometimes they kind of screw up bits to kind of stuff it in, but it might be better to start with the longer stuff.
Okay, so I think now you just get your straw cut and then we'll begin.
এগুলো তো কাঠামোর সঙ্গে লাগবে
If you could switch the camera, then we can see what you're doing. দেখো ওরা কি হবে, তোমার পা দিয়ে নিজের পাটাও কাটবে। উল্টোটা করতে। You have to hold the saw with your foot and then the saw with. Yeah, Jim gets it.
ওটা আমাদের
And now take the straw, put it in the middle and cut it. Yep, perfect. So now Jim can teach.
Now that's so
Amy and Zoe.
okay. And then to cut with feet.
So just,
Shared skills. Shared skills.
sorry about my details.
And you may find it easier to stick it in between the toes. Now, we've got another foot cutter.
I knew these plastic would come in handy like this.
আর আমাদের এক সারা জীবনই চলে যায় আমাদের
Can you just focus in on your kind of straw, Nandita, so we can just see how much you've cut and what size and things?
তুমি পুরোটা কতটা কেটেছো এটা দেখাও, পুরোটা একসাথে তোলো।
পুরোটা
Yeah. So he's doing it now.
Okay.
Are you working together?
Yeah? Okay.
দেখে তো বাবু দেখে সরিয়ে দেবে ও ঠিক আছে হ্যাঁ না একেবারে নতুন ওরা যে
I'm going to start working with my feet. It's like having an extra pair of hands.
বাবু
I think Jim has enough.
Thank you.
Yeah. The others,
I'll cut some more for other people.
Amy, you have to move it outwards, otherwise you'll cut yourself. Your move has to be outwards of the straw. Yeah. And usually it should be just one, you just push it down once, not rub it forth.
That could be the blade being a bit blunt.
Oh. Also, she's very gentle. These people are like warriors here. It's the first time. Bas,
I think it's because the blade isn't very sharp, Nandita.
Yeah, and also because you have a big handle, so you're not getting that much of a, it's not so
Yeah.
firm. He's using one of those.
We're using a hacksaw.
Yeah, this is a dagger.
Yeah, we haven't.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, I didn't bring my dagger with me.
Hold that down, then hacksaw. Okay, anyway. So, are you ready with your bundles? Sure. Okay, so they'll start the binding now. কতটা? So he's going to take about this much of straw in one bundle. Yeah.
হয়ে যত টানবো।
ফোকাস করো ঠিক করে। Now the straw has gone all around the central stick, right from the base.
Sorry.
Dolon, তুমি তো main time
It was a bit.
Paused. The back one. And then we walk I can't work out if it's that way.
We've had about that much.
Is it that way up? Which way up is it?
I'm assuming it just sits there.
লাগাও, তুমি লাগাও।
Okay.
বাঁধনটা ভালো করে যদি
না বাঁধনটা ঠিক দেখাতে হবে।
দেখাতে হবে। না, ওটা দাও, বিশ্বাস করে দেখাতে হবে।
তুমি ক্যামেরাটাকে
একদম কাছে।
And presumably it needs to be bound very tightly.
very tightly.
না, আমি বলছি তুমি কেটে দাও।
তুমি ক্যামেরায় দেখতে পারো।
হ্যাঁ। ঠিক আছে।
So the first binding goes downwards and then again up.
ধীরে ধীরে।
আস্তে করো না।
এত ছটফটের না। আস্তে একটু।
Not put like a little loop on the end of it and feed it through the loop.
হ্যাঁ। একা একাই ছিল।
There is more than one way to string a cat.
Can you show us your screen, please? Yeah. দেখো ঠিক আছে কিনা।
Can you demonstrate how you tie off the string initially? Is there a knot or is it just wrapped over itself?
You can make a knot, it doesn't make a difference, but normally these people just, let it be and then bind around it.
So just
But
wrapping the string on top of itself, it should be firm. And are you kind of binding upwards? Are you starting at the base and then going up with string?
You begin about 8 inches or 6 inches above the base, go downwards and then again up.
Okay.
But I think you've taken too little straw, each of you.
Okay. Can we put more on after?
আবার তো
Anyway, it doesn't matter because on the second layer you can put more.
আবার
Okay.
But this binding has to be very tight.
It's very tight, not at the bottom. Was that yours?
ওদিকটা দেখো কি ভুল করছে কি
আবার দিদি ওরা শুরু করেছে ওইটা আবার ইয়ে দিয়ে ঠিক করা যায় আর ঠিকই আছে হ্যাঁ এবার ঠিক এত এখন আমাদের মধ্যে এতটা পরিষ্কার বাড়তে পারছে না তো হ্যাঁ ওইটা ধীরে ধীরে আবার দেখা যাবে
try to bind it as tightly and densely as possible.
আর এইটা ফ্রেশ করে নিতে হবে এই এক হাতে ফ্রেশ করতে হবে
And as you bind, then with your free hand, you have to put the straw together towards the top. No, it's not evenly bound, Amy. There are little areas that are all left empty.
ওর কাছে যা ভালো কাজ করাতে একজন পেন্টিং করে লাইট করছে কি করছে বুঝলি আমার ওরকম মাঝে মাঝে লাইট করে দিচ্ছে হ্যাঁ হাত বানিয়ে একটা চিন্তা
Lucy, hold the straw higher. Yeah, and just keep smoothening it. Just see how they're doing it.
Who would you like them to focus on?
When Jim is tying the straw below, then Lucy should hold the straw and smoothen it.
Okay.
It's not Lucy.
No, it's Zoe. It's Zoe, but...
I've just seen her.
Okay, so keep kind of smoothing up.
Jim's is... It's, yeah.
Jim is what?
Doing it nicely. He's using a different way of tying it because he's making it equidistant, but crossing is better because that keeps it evenly stressed.
Okay.
But don't tie it up too high because otherwise the hand can't take shape. Jim, you've gone a bit high in your tying. About 4 to 6 inches is enough.
We're all really bad with inches. We know centimetres.
So what we are trying to achieve here is the wrist. So only say 6 to 7 inches. So 6 to 7 inches, just up to here is what we are tying now. So if you tie it too high, then there'll be nothing left for the fingers and palms. So this is how much you tie from the base.
বোঝাচ্ছি যে এটা একটু ফ্রেশ করে টেনে ধরলে ভালো এই স্ট্রগুলো ইয়ে অলিভার কি করতে বোঝা যাচ্ছে না
Can we have a view of Amy and Oliver's piece so that we know that it's going okay? It's all right.
খুব ভালো কিন্তু ওরা উপর থেকে নিচে
বললাম তাই
এগুলো ফ্রেশ
Yeah, one more. So Jim, it's good to begin from the base. Yeah.
So this needs to be thicker, right? Does this need to be thicker?
হাতের মতো এরকম ডিটেল না।
String snap.
Does it need to be thicker, Nandita? The one near the stool? Shall I add more straw?
I couldn't follow. Can you say that again?
Shall I add more straw to this one that Oliver's pointing at?
It's okay. It's okay. When
It's
we
okay?
do the second layer, then you can add. It's fine. As long as your binding is all right.
ওরা যেরকম
Nandita, Rachel sent you an image on WhatsApp. Would you be able to check it and see if she's done it correctly?
Yeah, I'm in touch with her. I'll just.
ডিটেল না যদি কালার করে নিই।
Rachel, Nandita says it's looking good.
Did you say something?
Oh, I was just reading out to Rachel your message, in case
Yes. No, it looks fine. Rachel যেটা করেছে বড় করে দাও। Yeah, Rachel's is fine.
তৈরি করা ছিল।
Are you shipping off the bottom? Look. Did I miss that?
It wasn't hard, so I was going a bit ad-libbing.
May I use the knife?
ঠিক আছে দিদি, এরপরে আমরা আবার শুরু করি।
So notice they kind of push those down, did they? Right, okay, flat when we put it on. Yeah, it's all cheap.
ওদেরটাও ভালো হয়েছে। তো হয়ে গেল কমপ্লিট, আর থাকা লাগবে না এবার ছেড়ে দেবো। এবার ছেড়ে না, একবার লেগেছে না।
So should we do the next layer? Chalo. Okay, now. Now.
এই তো গেল করছিল।
Acha.
Are you tying higher?
Are you just tying? So you're just tying another bit of string to the end of the one that's already attached?
Yes, but it should be very firmly, tied around and attached to the next.
So effectively, you're kind of working with one continuous length of string the whole time, and just adding to that end of that length. Is that the system?
Yes, but it gives strength like this. Otherwise, if they're very long, it can get all tangled. I mean, you could have had a very long piece of string.
And I guess the other thing is it in terms of it's labour saving to tie two together and have to tie one off and then tie one on.
Yes.
So you need to get another bit of string on the top of your
Length of straw, but he's going to fold it into half.
কাজ করে তা দেখতে পাবেন না দাদা বাবু এটা ছেড়ে দাও এটা ছেড়ে দাও
Can you just talk us through what that Nandita?
It's another similar length of a bunch of straw and fold it into half.
Okay.
Just show me how you're doing it.
Can you flick to these guys? Oh, it is on them.
আসছে বাবু আসছে ও
I don't think you've got enough, Oliver. No. Does I don't think Oliver's got enough. Does he need thicker bunch?
That's fine. He's got enough and fold it into half. Yes, perfect. Okay. So just hold on to it until everyone gets there and then we'll do the... So the folded center has to be towards the bottom.
Okay.
The loose ends are on the top.
Yeah.
ওরা যথেষ্ট নিয়েছেন আরো লাগবে
ঠিকই আছে যার হাতে যতটা আটবে ততটা
So you just take as much as you can hold in your hand.
যতটা যার হাতে পরে আবার লাগিয়ে দেবেন
Okay. So should we go ahead?
Yeah, yeah.
Now.
Fold it hard and you put the string through it.
Should we move on?
Yes, please.
Okay.
প্লাস্টিক করে রাখা হয় দেখা হয় চওড়া করা
Just flatten it out
ফ্ল্যাট করা
and then double cover. And then attach it around. It doesn't have to go totally around, but however much it spreads. And then again you tie the string in the same way. So you just kind of keep layering.
Yeah, it goes all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, you go downwards and keep it pretty taut and tight.
And so presumably the fold is giving you making it slightly thicker at the bottom. So you're getting starting to get the form of the wrist and the arm.
Yes. So this is basically just the wrist being made. And it just goes from the bottom to the span of a hand.
But you tied the string for like higher up to the one that was there, and then you bound it down and then back up again, the span of a hand.
Second, it is the folded bit that sits in the... Yeah. Does it sit on the back?
Yeah. And just fan it out a little bit, fan it out a bit round. Yeah, but more give it a bit. Like just going to put another one there and one there.
ওরা কেটে খেয়াল দেবে ওরা নিজেরাই করে নিচ্ছে পরে একদম
The person who's right at the back, is that Oliver? Yes, I think Oliver's is not tight enough, the time.
পেঁচিয়ে কি করতে হবে ও ঘুরিয়ে ঘুরিয়ে করতে হবে।
So you don't knot with each round. You just keep winding it round and round.
পা দিয়ে চেপে দিতে হবে
If you can, Oliver, press it down with your feet, then you'll get the strength
তুমি
to,
কিরকম ধরেছে পা দিয়ে ওরকম।
then you'll be able to, work it better.
যখন বড় মুশকিল হবেন এটা মানে সেইটা নরম বলে আমাদের নিজেরই সবই এই যে ধান এই যে পাটি
Nandita, will that be replicated once or twice more, so it's evenly around that central column?
So that you get the girth of the wrist.
আর একবারে
But is that girth created with more bundles?
Yes, in the sense that, they need to have the whole thing very circular and complete. So now they've just added the second layer on one side, so probably we'll add it a bit more on the other side.
Okay.
But this is like you keep what we call andaz in India, which is like it's a guesstimate. So there's really no prescription for how much. It's the artist.
Okay.
আরেকটা নিয়ে বলো
So now he's beginning the third. After, so before he starts onto the third layering, they're going to just open out the straw that is on the top. Karo? You did it.
ওরা দেখতে পারে কিন্তু কি তাদের
No.
Because that's going to stop being the palm, isn't it? So
Oh, I see. Yeah,
they're trying to get kind of a width and a flatness.
So the straw that on the top, needs to be spread out. It already looks to this display. Yeah. Okay, so he's putting the third layer now. In the same, the straw has to be folded into two parts. Back out.
আবার হাত করে ওটাকে আবার চওড়া করতে একটু দিলে
Compress it. Yeah, this is good. Yep. Okay. And now flatten it out. Flatten it out. No. Okay, you don't have to.
এই করো না জড়ো করো
Not the bottom, but just flatten the whole, all the straw, not so circular. Yes, yes, Jim, that's right. But focus. Now this part gets attached just where the string has ended. So that you have new amounts of straw to build the hand and the fingers. And then again you bind it.
এটা থেকে আস্তে আস্তে চওড়া হচ্ছে দিদি এইটা, হ্যাঁ এটা উঠে যাচ্ছে।
And does that just go on the outside, Nandita, or it somehow go in the middle of the fan? Oh, your screen's frozen.
Kind of flatten it out to become the palm.
Can you just repeat that because the screen froze, so we only caught the end.
So at the bottom of the structure, it's circular, and then as it higher, it started to flatten out, so that it becomes like the palm.
So can you just point to where you added this new folded bit of straw?
Here.
Okay. So if you think, if the fan is kind of flat that way, it's been added.
Flap of where it is.
Okay.
Get
a photo of it.
অলিভার বুঝতে পেরেছি না, আরেকবার বোঝা যাচ্ছে না, একটা আইডিয়া আছে।
I think, Lucy, what you have to explain to Oliver is the folding is not correct.
Oh, it's not correct.
Before tying, the folding that we explained, yeah, can you show your screen so that I can see whether it's all right?
Can you flick to our screen? Oh, it's on us.
Yeah, I think it just needs to be in which. So that's like sorry.
Yeah, okay. This is all right. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
তো 5 বছর 8 বছর 10 বছর ওনারা স্যার 1 ঘন্টা হয় না করতে করতে প্র্যাকটিস। হয় না। আমি বললাম তো লিভারের বাথরুম ঠিক করতে। ও যে করে ভিডিও এসব কাজই করে, তো অনেক কিছু পোস্ট করেছে, তো তখন আমি দেখেছি যে হয়। দিদি কি হয় বলুন তো, দড়িটা ওরা সামনে দিচ্ছে না, একটা দড়িটা হ্যাঁ উল্টো দিচ্ছে আর দেখে যাবেন। তাকে হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, সামনের দিকে টানলে হবে আর ভেতর।
Jim, by pulling the string outwards, not towards your chest, then you get a better purchase on it.
হবে তাহলে
When you're pulling,
That way.
yeah,
Okay.
like I think we can just stop for a second and say hello to Reena, who's the director of KCC, our partner project. একটু রিনার উপর ইয়ে করো, ফোকাস করো। Oh God, it's been out. Yeah.
Hello.
We don't see your screen. Okay. Yeah, so this is the Daimler Center where they are working. They're getting there. People.
I did two actually. You did two? But that's because the first one didn't do strong enough. Thick enough. Yeah? Wasn't girthy enough.
কাজ আছে কেন?
I feel like this, at the minute, this doesn't even know what it's doing. It has to be added to your wrist if you're going to really high. And then the kind of, the good technique is to then, like rather than tie your string onto it, just tie your wrist onto that string. So you don't say later because you're tying one off.
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, একটা গিট মারতে হবে দিদি, আরেকটার সঙ্গে আরেকটা।
And then, so once you get that to there, then this bit is being panned out. You go to the palm. And this is like adding to your bolt. Your palm. Yeah. So you'd be kind of binding that there. I can help by holding it for you. But I think the first thing to do is to get this bit around this.
হ্যাঁ
Yeah, if you've got one. Oh, I just need start lower and just like work up in one direction. Then also like turn off like that. Done like that. And then use that, it's really strong. Pulling away from you.
মাছটার ওইখানে
Make your like bang fast. You're just finding the bottoms, I think, for now. So again, start low, as low as you kind of can. I'll get under my hand.
Where's the microphone? Does it?
Have you guys added another to say, or just one?
I've added two, like, sticks here.
Okay.
On top of,
So almost the same again, just a bit more bold.
I'm just using this straight on.
এবার আবার শুরু করা যাক দিদি আবার শুরু করি আমরা
Okay, so now we'll just do the binding for the third stage. I think Amy's got it at the same stage as us. Yes. Chalo, Shyam.
নিচটা খুব ভালো করে মিশে যাচ্ছে ওই জায়গাটা একটু ফোকাস করে দেখালে ভালো হয় মেশাতে পারছি না জায়গাগুলো হ্যাঁ এখানটা একটু
I think it's important to see how they are blending the joints with the string. There shouldn't be rough edges. So if you can see how he has, now after he binds it, you can't really tell where the joints are. So that the blending of the joint has to be very smooth.
না হয় দিদি উপর নিচটা হালকা উপরটা হয় নিচটা কিন্তু আমার ঘর দিয়ে ভারী
While you're binding, be very careful that the bottom part, the bottom 4-5 inches is solid. Otherwise, the whole thing will overturn. Jim's look.
It looks what?
Yeah, Jim eta dekho. ঠিক আছে. Jim's is okay. It's not going to overturn.
ওকে
আমাদের নিচেরটা দেখাও, উঁচু করে ধরো, তোমার হাত ছোট। এই নিচে অবধি দেখাও, কাট অবধি। So you can see how Dolon's piece is very solid at the bottom.
কাছ থেকে দেখা
আর একটু জুম ইন করুন।
হ্যাঁ
Yeah, I think it's okay. Jimetটা ঠিক আছে।
হ্যাঁ
This side bit here, is this okay?
হ্যাঁ
See that is. Yeah, I put third bit
ঠিক আছে হয়ে যাবে আমারও প্রথমবার এর থেকেও বাজে হয়েছিল সত্যি বানিয়েছিলাম তো
Yeah, I think Amy's needs to be neatened at the bottom. There are too many loose ends because when the cake comes on top, it's going to be pretty rough. So you just flatten the straw and just bind it up.
পরে তো ভালো কাজ করেছে তারা গভর্নমেন্ট স্টপ প্রচুর হাতের মুখে এটা আমাদের মুখের মধ্যে ঢুকে যায়
What's he doing there?
Just showing how he bends the straw over and then sort of lays out a little bit.
হ্যাঁ এবার আঙুল আস্তে আস্তে হ্যাঁ খড় দিতে হবে তাই যে খড় ওরা হয়েছে কি না হ্যাঁ না সহজ সরল দেখাতে হবে সব কিন্তু না এরকম নকটা দেখাতে পারবে এরকম একটু নকটা দেখাতে পারেন না এরকম করে দিলে একটা নখ দেখানো যায় তাহলে বেশি লাগবে না যদি ওরা আর একটু ওরা ফেলবে টেকনিকটা শিখে নিলে
So tell us when you're ready for the next step.
Do you want me to say you're ready?
Yes,
They're ready.
Okay, so now the objective is that now we are kind of widening the piece upwards so that there's more and more straw available to shape the fingers and the hand. Okay, so now you attach it to the other side so that there's a width on the other side. Just watch how he's going to do it.
এখানটা একটু ফোকাস করুন একটু
Now the entire structure, instead of just being circular, is flattening out. Eta ghuriye dekhao, aste kore ghorao. না ওইরকম না যেন পাখার মতো পুরো জিনিসটা ঘোরাও পুরোটা ঘোরাও So the two new clumps of straw have been added on the two sides. So it's become like a spatula.
So it just starts to flat out, right?
Yeah.
So are we doing it on one side? An opposite side symmetrically? It would have to be symmetrical, wouldn't it, for it to be flat? Yeah.
Do you want to?
So, Dolon, are we? I can't quite. Is it symmetrical, as in the placement of the next bunch? Is it
Yes.
opposite directly to it?
Yes, on the other edge.
Okay.
So if let
Yeah.
just the hatta dekho. So it was this hand, this big hand we were building. You put the straw on this side and then you put it again on this side.
Can you just say that again, Nandi? Sorry.
So now they're just putting the straw around here. So the first time you add a clump here, and the next time you add a clump on the other side. So on the two sides of the hand are widening out.
Okay, thank you.
ছোটটা হরে তো আঙুলগুলো
So our group's very interested in abstraction rather than photorealism.
So roughly, the binding should have reached about 12 inches from the base, roughly.
Nandita, I was just saying that when I was over in India working with Kumartuli, there's when you can see someone struggling to kind of get grips with something, it's very easy for the teacher to come over and just do it, you know, to show you by doing. But here, there's just not that, you know, there isn't that opportunity for Dolon to kind of come over. So you just have to, you know, the person just has to kind of keep going and learn through doing. I think it's kind of a positive. It's a positive from this distance.
I think the positive I can see is that it can take a different direction from what is prescribed. And that can be nice as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Jim, maybe you can reduce the amount of straw. একটু বেশি দিয়ে দিয়েছে না Jim?
Jim said he was going for a big knuckle.
না না যে নতুন যেটা দিচ্ছে
না ওইটার দরকার নেই এখন দেওয়ার ওকে না করে দিই আগে আমরা ইয়ে করি
I think for your piece you don't have to add any more now because you seem to have a lot of straw. So then let them just separate the fingers and then we'll see if you need more.
I haven't put this on yet.
But they're saying you've got enough.
Just reduce some straw and put it where you were just showing.
That's the original.
Yeah, you were just, yeah, on that side, right. I to namiye deben oitai.
হ্যাঁ ওইটা থেকে দিই ভালো হবে তাহলে
It's all expressed.
Weak.
I want to
ঠিক আছে
ওইটা ভাই পেছন দিকেরটা কি করেছে
this has still got the old wheat thatch.
Yeah.
খুব ভালো কাজ
That bad?
কাজ করতে
That's something different.
Can't stop thinking about wheat bits since the gap one was quite bad. Never eat wheat bits again.
Why not?
Why?
Because you were there.
The rats.
Because apparently, yeah, they just like keep it in big
হ্যাঁ এসব যদি আগে তো ছিল না ও ওই কেজি
Right.
Then you blend it all together.
কেজি
Yeah, but they must be.
No, just clean it, man.
যেন
They just sound rat shit.
Yeah, because it's so like
Rat shit bits.
shit a bit. Shit a bit. Yeah, exactly. Actually, Rachel says she eats it in the morning. She should do it in the morning. She does.
I want to see Rachel's. I bet Rachel's.
I want to see Rachel.
Rachel, the team here are asking for an update from you. Can you send me a WhatsApp and I'll share?
The string is wearing my fingers.
Yeah, it's free.
Brutal.
My delicate fingers are being injured.
Oh, I didn't bring any moisturiser.
Not that. It's got that open sore.
That's quite rough, that one.
রিঙে বা ঘরে ঠিক আছে অসুবিধা নেই দিদি এটা ভালো হয়েছে এখান থেকে হাতের পাম্প এটা হয়ে যাবে তারপর আঙুলগুলো ঘিরিয়ে দিবি আর একটুখানি এই সাইডটা একটু জুটতে হবে এই সাইডটা একটু জুটতে হবে দেখে দেখে
Yeah.
আমাদের হ্যাঁ এইটা করা প্লাস ওইটাকে ফিনিশ করা কাপড় দেওয়া প্রচুর কাজ
Jim, have you got one continuous line string?
Yeah. Well, I just keep joining another piece to it.
Yeah, but just the main actually.
This is Rachel.
Nandita, have you?
Yeah?
Cool, yeah, that's good.
Should this be sort of? I don't know if you can see it here, but should it be like fatter, like wide on one side and narrower the other side?
It wasn't like...
Could you show?
It just, be
যদি হয়
the wrist. So I think it looks all right, yours.
Okay. Oh, I see. It was like more like a fan.
So the binding has to be roughly 12 inches. And then above that is the free straw. Should we proceed? Because we've already covered 2 hours and there's a lot to do.
Yes, please.
Yeah, we'd like to continue.
We haven't done MEK yet.
বাবা
That's it.
খুব ভালো করে এখানে দেখাতে হবে কিন্তু হ্যাঁ
So now what he's doing is separating the fingers. So you take,
দিদি দিদি ওকে ডাকুন তো আরেকজন আছে ক্যামেরাম্যান ও ঠিক করে দেখান
so divide it into 5, he's got 2 separate sections on the side. এটা এরকম করে দেখাও না, যাতে কি ওরা দেখতে পাবে। 2 সাইডে যে করে, So it's been divided on two sides. পুরো জিনিসটা দেখো, তুমি এত এর মধ্যে ঢুকে যেও না, পুরো জিনিসটা।
Okay, so that's 2 fingers and then the middle bit is the other 3.
এবার ওইগুলো ধর তুই, ওইগুলো ফাঁক করো, তিনটে করো। এইখান দিয়ে আবার
Is that is it 4 fingers and the thumb is added later, or is that being split into 5?
Gets added here.
Okay, so you're making 4 fingers.
Okay, so you divide it into 4 fingers.
Okay, we're on it.
আমি একটু এদিকে- then bind the finger. করো
স্ট্রেট বানিয়ে দেবে দিদি।
হ্যাঁ
হ্যাঁ, একটা হলো স্ট্রেট থাকবে না, একটা আঙুল এরকম থাকবে।
সব এরকম স্ট্রেট থাক, জাস্ট চটপট যেতে হবে। তো ওদের
চটপটি করে দেবো,
একটা এরকম গোল, একটা নিচু দিকে কি কিছু কি করে ঘোরাতে হয় এটা দেখে
একটা হলে ভালো হয় আর কি।
যেকোনো একটা ঘুরিয়ে দাও,
ও এদের সবগুলোর উপর
ওই শেপটা দেখাও। So this is the kind of hand that we are trying to make. আবার দেখো, yeah, can you see the kind of hand we are to make?
Yes, yes, we can see.
Okay, so then we just start binding the fingers.
টাইম পাবে না।
This has to be bound very tightly. So with each twine, you give it a tug and secure it. It shouldn't be loose at all. দড়িটাই ভেঙে গেল।
একটু টানা হচ্ছে।
এটা কি আঙুলটার বাড়ছে?
And how long should the fingers be? So where should they stop the string?
I think just hold on. কতটা লম্বা হবে আঙুলটা?
7 ইঞ্চি।
So each finger should be roughly 7 to 8 inches. That, in this case, you don't do verbatim what he's doing. You can just make it any shape you want, because it's very hard to replicate the shapes.
Okay.
More doubled straw in order to make the finger.
দেখাতে হবে যে তোরা কিছু দিল না। আচ্ছা তুই এটা করে ফেল, তারপর মাঝখানটা দেখাতে হবে। করে ফেল, ওটা কেটেছে, এটা কেটেছে, মাঝখানটা যে ঢোকানো হয়।
Did you understand how the straw is added to make the tip of the finger? Or should I show it again?
ভালো করে
So you fold the straw and then put it in the middle of the bunch.
That will end up being the tip.
Yeah,
So everything above that, once it's tied, you'll cut off.
yeah.
Okay.
তাড়াতাড়ি আমাদের মতো হয়ে যাবে। ওরা কিন্তু না রে বাবু, ওরা অনেক সারা বছর ধরে অনেক চেষ্টা করেছে অনেক কিছু করার, দেখে দেখেই করেছে বাড়ি করা। আর একটা অনেক কথা প্রত্যেকে বিয়ে করে নাও, দেখিয়ে দাও। আগে ওইটা ওরা করে নি, এখন বললেই মোটামুটি তো বুঝে যাবে বাকিগুলো কেমন বাঁচতে হয়, চুপচাপ থেকে যাওয়া।
Yeah, you cut some off, exactly. Don't find that in then just string it off. He's saying, as well, so like, when you've got to the point where you want to finish your finger, you add a bit extra, find that and then cut it off.
So all the 4 fingers will be the same system. So I'm just him to progress the 4 fingers. Chalo, chalo. You go. তুমি
অনেক টাইম কাজ করা হবে তখন একবার দেখি নেই।
No, it's Lucy. Yeah, exactly. So I guess, yeah, you fold it over a little bit, add that bind it in, right it.
say once you finished 1 finger, to tie the second finger, you could just attach a string to any of the string already on the armature and then pull it from there.
Yeah, yeah. So you just put your both binding each finger.
How many extra bundles have you added to that finger?
Create shape, you mean, like? I think you will.
How many bundles have you added to that extra finger? So how many extra bundles to that finger?
One more to each finger to get the length.
Okay.
But not a lot of straw, See how much he's taking? দেখাও কতটা নিচ্ছে?
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's folding it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it always has to be folded.
Okay.
And then how does he attach it? In the center of the bunch.
এটা কিছু দেওয়া হবে।
I just went up and he wasn't bothered about seeing me. He was looking for Rebecca. Sorry, I had to. He was like, "Where is she?" Yeah, would be amazing.
So we're going to make a giant one of these.
ভালো বুঝতে পারি।
So now we use 10 o'clock. I thought 5 feet. What time did we start?
We started at 7:30, didn't we? But we were a few technical glitches in there with the camera. It meant to be working at 11:30.
খাবার এনেছি
I might not have been finished by then.
You're going to call?
Giving a lecture on it. We're giving a lecture at 11:30 online.
Turn it into a demonstration.
You do it.
Oh, we should have done one together, shouldn't we, really? And then
Yeah, I know, I was thinking about that. But no, it's good to do it visually, isn't it? Once we how it works then. You know, like fish fine.
I can't.
কাটারি দিয়ে কেটে কেটে
Is one of you two more like technically minded than the other?
ফাঁকটা
We used to say that it was even, but
It definitely is.
now Oliver does way more. Since being pregnant.
চেষ্টা করে থাকি
He's got it anyway, but
Oh, okay.
Pretty even.
You can see it.
I just didn't have one of you does more theoretical, structural, and the other one's more like I'm going to do the.
Oh, really?
No.
you're obviously a bit more loose. I'd say you're a bit more looser, aren't you?
I'm very loose.
Elusive.
Elusive, yeah, he's elusive.
আছে যদিও আমাদের ইটা না কেক আছে আমাদের
Yes, please.
So just by way of a time check, it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we're.
We've got an hour and a half,
Jeez, that
and
was
we
so quick.
haven't touched any clay yet.
আমাদের একটা সেটা বোঝা
You know, incentivizing you to kind of
ইনফ্যাক্ট
dive into whatever kind of
Form it's sticking
Gesture
out.
and stuff.
exactly, whatever kind of gesture. Exactly.
Mine might just be a bit. Could have just done it.
Yeah.
কি হয়ে যায় ওরা আবার দেখা
Just a wrist.
It's still tiring me.
Yeah, I'm going to make massive machines. Nuts, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I don't
Is it?
first, I don't
It's
know
the
how
bar?
to make these massive ones. It's not going to fit in our studio. I mean, it'll fit in, but it'll not come out.
Clean it out, yeah.
Yeah. Have you got a space, Jim?
Yeah, but not. I think it's in London. I'm just thinking.
Not with a 5 metre roller shutter.
No.
Rachel's got. If I can roll
She does actually.
I would make it and then get it sent to Coventry.
and that's making it.
On site.
Yeah, or with the community project, whichever community we're making.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets made in here.
Oh, in here.
So then how does it get out the door?
Yeah, it'll not fit out the door. will it?
That's a big door.
Which,
This-
yeah.
this one's the door,
yeah.
actually.
I was only looking at that door over there. But
তোদের একটা মগ নিয়ে নেবো সেটা নেই কাটারুয়ার মতো এসেছি হ্যাঁ খুব মজা করেছি
Nandita? Oh, is Nandita there?
Yeah.
Oh,
I can hear
okay.
you.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I don't know if you heard me, but I gave these guys a time check. Just to let them know where we were at. But also, I had a question really for Shyam and Dolon. How many of these hands would they make kind of commercially in a day? And how it work? Is it that one person would just do all the straw and someone else would do the clay?
So the answer is that of this size of hand, they can make at least, I don't know, এইরকম সাইজের হাত তোমার মতো লোক কটা বানাতে পারে একদিনে? বাঁধা না রেডি। Yeah, 6-7 of them they'll be able to make, but with a helper, because there's specialization in it. But just binding it, he can do maybe 20. But the clay parts need drying in between and so on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So now let's just quickly get the 4 fingers bound and neat. So Jim is almost there.
Still got a thumb to do as well.
আমরা না আঁকড়ে যেতে দিই, সব ভুলে যাবে।
What's the doing?
জলটা নিয়ে
You are having horrible thoughts.
দিদি দাও তো দাও আমার, ঠিক আছে, হলুদটা আমার। হ্যাঁ ও আমাদের
It's not the generation room. We're not. Up a bit, yeah, it's like a bit more of a. Oh, that's it.
ওরাও তো করে বলে এটাই তো। তো তাড়াতাড়ি তো দিতে এরপরে মাটি ফাটি মা নোংরা হয় না দিদি, হাতগুলো মুছে নোংরা হয়ে যাচ্ছে, হাত দিয়ে কি করছে? সকাল থেকে রাত অবধি, কত রাত অবধি এখন চলছে কাজ।
Yeah, you definitely can.
ঠিক আছে দিদি, হ্যাঁ যাতে সবাই দেখতে পায়। চারটে আঙুল করা হলো, এরপরে আমি
Yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah, just cut off whatever you don't want.
And this one was like sticking out by putting it in stuff.
It's really project. It's really good. You did it.
Yeah, but I tried to. It's hung over and a knuckle over, and you kind of need some time, don't you? You know,
Yeah, I was really impressed.
give it some thought. No, it was a real shame. So I did, you know, like kind of. I really liked the salmon one, but I didn't actually hear any of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I read
sure.
afterwards and told me what it said. But
Okay.
in terms of like being visually arresting and the way they did it, I thought that was really powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, God, it was really.
It was so, yeah, and the voiceover and the space of that loud environment.
Yeah. No, I thought they were really good actually.
Although I bumped into a couple in the art, they said to me that the dad doesn't do art, he's just like, I haven't seen it, but
It's a lot, you know, it's a lot, and if you're not,
I'm not educated.
yeah, if you're not kind of someone that kind of studies art or, you know, there's to know how to kind of read it and engage. You almost need instruction manuals for something like that. It's okay to listen or like, yeah, especially engage practice side of it. You know, kind of what is that as an art form, and I think that if they had some of that context, it'd be really helpful.
না এত জোরে টান টান।
Where are you staying? Not the same place as before.
The fingers should have a tighter binding, not with so much gap.
Who are you talking to?
Who are you directing that at, Nandita?
All.
Everyone.
Binding needs to be
A lot
tighter.
of gap between the strings.
Gap between the strings.
So if you look at the one he's made, it's very solid.
Yeah.
All of this is very firm.
I think at this stage, Nandita, though, don't you think we should go with what we've got and kind of move on to the next phase? And
I think so. I think that's the way sensible instead of trying perfection. তোমার একটা আঙুল ঘুরিয়ে দাও।
হ্যাঁ পরে আবার আমাদের ইয়ে করা যাবে বুঝলি? ওকে আবার এটা কাছে এনে দেওয়া যাবে। হ্যাঁ দড়ি দিয়ে ও ওইটা দিয়ে করে ফেলেছে। এবার আমরা ব্যাখ্যাটা দেখাতে হবে।
So they're now going to add the thumb. So just have a look at it. You don't have to do it maybe if it takes too long, but at least
একসঙ্গেই দেখাবো এইসব
watch. না আগে জয়েন করো, যেটা বলে দিয়েছি সেটা তো করতে হবে। হ্যাঁ
How much? Is that more straw or less straw than the finger?
The string that you will use to create the thumb with has to begin right at the bottom. So it just winds its way up and then goes round the thumb.
Is that
So
more?
again, hold the straw in the same fashion.
It's hard
And
to tell. But is that a larger bunch or a smaller bunch than we used to make the fingers?
Larger than what you did the fingers with.
Okay. And the thumb sort of goes in a bit lower than the additional bits we put on.
Your judgment on that. Okay. And there's not prescriptive.
Yeah. Be an artist.
He's doing some now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, think about which one of these. One of this is is that, and one is that. And one is slightly higher than the other. So the one that's higher, it goes underneath that one. Yeah.
So it looked like he added a bent piece of straw in the right place first, and then he's now adding, once that's on, he's covering that with full straw to get more of the shape.
Jim, for instance, if you wanted to bind your fingers closer together, you just have to string all around. Yeah, that's all.
I'll do that later. When
Because otherwise you won't have space for the thumb.
I was going to put the thumb's going here.
Yeah, that's right. That's, maybe you can use a bit of straw. See, look how much he's put.
Yeah.
See, it should come in the circle of 2 fingers.
Yeah. Does
Handling the straw was nasty to hold it.
feels like a long time ago.
The same thing.
Actually, we don't have to.
ওপর এরকম মুড়ে
দরকার হবে কি দেখলে?
We convenient, like there's a gap between the wooden boards, just at the moment where there's a horizontal gap. So it's almost, it's like the perfect little area to have a
With a little door.
Yeah. What's that? It was only, it was, you know, it hadn't gone far in, but I'm pretty sure by the end of winter
It'll be in there.
that's the access point.
Spot.
In the rick. Yeah, I can't remember who was saying it. They were saying when people used to take the door out of the rick, you know, people moving the straw and people with backs to like hit that.
So it's should be there though.
Should be there. Rather than what it's
I think perhaps we can just see how he's finishing a finger. So it gets bound almost till the top, and then the kind of, straight bamboo straw that there, he just folds it over.
Okay.
He's doing it now.
দরকার হবে না হাত করার একটু কম লাগে
So he's folding it and bending it over.
I'll trim my thumb a bit.
Will you just quickly have a look at how he's getting the formation of the finger? দেখাও
ঘোরাতে হবে।
এটাকে দেখো বলুন তুমি সর তোমার এই ছাপের জামা ওর পেছনে এসে যাচ্ছে তো বেড়ে যাচ্ছে তুমি একদম সাইডে এটাকে এদিকে আনো যাতে সাদা আর
It's like he fast forwarded.
You know,
yeah
I didn't even see that happen that bit.
so the thumb that you attached
Can you do that
it
again?
is bound to the top and then the other finger is bending and now bind করো
It's very quick. Blinking, you could miss it.
বেশি বেশি এখন না কেন তুমি যে তাড়াতাড়ি শেষ করে দাও যাতে মাটির প্রস্তুতটা এসে যায়
এগুলো করে ফেলতে হবে বুঝতে পারো টানটা
I really like working with straw. It's really quite a good material to work with, isn't it? It's just so... Well, it sort of looks to my hand and works the way I wanted it.
Yeah, like, keep it underneath the high finger. Yeah, because
On one side you've got one knuckle here and one knuckle here. And at an angle, you want the one that's flat. When we were putting the two sides on, one was there and one was there. When did you drive down?
in the Herbert.
In the Herbert?
Yeah, in the Herbert colour.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah. I got a dumpling last night. That's what we...
Oh, right.
করার দরকার নেই এগুলো করে একবার শুধু দেখিয়ে দেওয়া হয়
Yes, underneath.
দাদা দাদা
It's like people.
না আছে ও হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হাত দুটো দেখা যাচ্ছে অলিভ
Thing you're putting around to...
উডলটাও একটা দাঁত দিয়েছে আমাদের এটা কমপ্লিট করে কারণ আর্টিতে যেতে হবে সুন্দর লাগবে এইটাতে। হ্যাঁ, হাঁসটা মেশানো শেপে এরকম একটু তো সময় লাগবে, তারপরে ওইটাতে ধরা তাড়াতাড়ি। এটা মোটামুটি মাটিটা চাপতে দিয়ে ওইটা চলে যাবে। কাপড় লাগানোটাই আর কি দেখা। আর একটু বালি মাটির যে গুলো কিভাবে জয়েন দেখা যাবে। না হলেও ওদের মধ্যে ছোট ভেঙে ফেলি 3 বার 4 বার একটা দিন খারাপ হলে। একবার শিখে নিলে কিছুই না, একবার যে শিখে নেবে সহজ। সে তো তোমাদের কুমারটুলির কথা জানো, মানে তোমাদের কিছুই ঠিক মতো করেন না। আমি জানি তোমার কুমারটুলিটা। আমারও ছেলে গেছিল না বাবু, ঠিক হয়ে যায় আস্তে আস্তে। প্রথম যখন পারতাম না দিদি, আমি এগুলো পুকুরে যেগুলো দিয়ে দিত ওইগুলোকে তুলে নিয়ে এসে তারপরে মাটি লেগে করতাম। এগুলো তো পারতাম না, অনেক করেছি। ওইগুলো পুজো দিতাম, সরস্বতী ঠাকুর বানিয়ে ফেলতাম। পোড়ানোর প্রক্রিয়াই নেশামেশি এগুলো করতাম।
Nandita, is the finger and the thumb, are they actually attached?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they attached or just bending towards each other?
No, they are bending towards each other, but they're at the palm.
But they're not touching.
Yeah.
They're not touching at the thumb end and the finger end.
So, the thumb is attached a little lower. So let me just show it to you from above.
No, I mean
Here.
where the finger and the thumb touch. You
Yeah.
know, to make that shape. I don't know if you can see my
Yeah.
hand.
So two separate
Are they
things.
two separate? Okay, thank you.
এই জায়গাটাতে
একটু পরিষ্কার
নিচেটা
করবো,
ঠিক
হ্যাঁ।
করে নিতে হবে।
এখন একটু কাটতে হবে। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, পুরো একদম প্যাকেটে ঢুক। একটুখানি ফ্রেশ দিদি, সামান্য, তাহলে মাটিটা দিতে সুবিধা হবে। দাঁড়াও দাঁড়াও, 3-4 বার করি, তুমি ধরো হয়ে যাবে। হবে না, দাঁড়াও, লাগবে। এবার আমরা মাটি দিয়ে ঠিকঠাক করে ফেলবো। না ঠিক আছে, একদম বাঁধো, আগে বেঁধে কেটে ফেলে। হ্যাঁ, পেছনটা খুবই কেটে ফেলেই হবে। আমরা একবার দিদি মেলার মাঠে একটা ছোট্ট মতো গ্রাম বানিয়েছিলাম এই খড় দিয়ে আর মাটি দিয়ে, পুরো গোয়ালা, মাছ ধরছে পুকুরে, সব। এটা ঠিক করে দিচ্ছে।
Jim, see, you're cutting off to make it equal size, but normally it should be folded over and bound so that there are no open edges.
I didn't have
This
enough.
is a good.
I didn't have enough to turn it. It's not
Okay.
So yeah, I know that. I'll do it on the other one.
জল মাটি এদেরকে পরিষ্কার করতে হবে এই জায়গাগুলো। দাদা মতো বসে আছে, মাটি বসে আছে।
Chop off the
Chopped off a bit because the thumb. Yeah, I can still fold it over though. It's not too.
It sounds like it was folded and bound and then chopped, so you had a smooth top, but we've got all of this anyway, so and I think our straw is more vegetable.
Folding the tops. Oh yeah. Doing the
ধরো ধরো না বাবু, বলছি ডবল ধরো, ডবল ধরো। কত বছর আগে এটা তৈরি। আমি একবার মাল দেখে দাদা
They're going to film it and then show us the maybe if we can yeah.
thumb. Fold it. Yeah, fold it.
বেশ।
You want it at the end, but you fold it and then stick it.
দিদি একবার দেখিয়ে দিন। হ্যাঁ একদম ফ্রেশ হয়ে যাবে। ঠিক আছে, ব্যাস এগুলো ছড়িয়ে দাও বাবু, ঝাঁটান ঝাঁটান ঝাঁটান।
All hands sort of leaning forward and pulling it. Yeah. But that's right, you can put it back.
হ্যাঁ একদম না, মাটি টাটি সব লেপটেটি হয়ে যাবে। আমাদের ড্রাইভারটা বলে দুটো হাত দিলে তিনটে হাত।
So we are galloping a little. The hand has been made already. Otherwise, if you take too much time with this binding, then you'll miss on all the steps with the clay.
Okay, should we give them 5 more minutes and then move on
Okay,
to
so-
clay?
Of course. So before you can put the clay, all the extra bits of straw sticking out here and there, you just need to cut them off and bind it up so that it comes neat, the surface.
Okay.
I can't see well, but the person next to Jim is doing a very good job.
That's Zoe Pedri,
ওগুলো মিশিয়ে দেবো মাটির সঙ্গে, দেখিস।
available for workshops.
Yes. See, দেখো, এটা ভালো করে-
ভালো
it's very good for the first time, really. So to finish the fingers, you just have to bend over the straw and bind it up. একটু খেয়ে নাও, তো আর 5 মিনিট লাগবে।
চলো ভাবছি
So Oliver, I
না,
think you should
এই তো লম্বা
commit to
Take
what
you
you've
that
got.
start.
I think you always just commit to as far as you've got and then move on.
যা, হ্যাঁ ওই ব্যাগটা নিয়ে আসবে যাবো ব্যাগটা নিয়ে চলে হ্যাঁ নিচে রেখে কিছু হবে না।
So you can kind of leave some of the fingers and like follow the K to the but only do half of it and then come back to that. Okay, look, I reckon it's 10:32. At 10:35, I'm going to say put your weapons down. Whatever stage your straw's in, I think we should move on to clay. They do.
হ্যাঁ আমি তো নিয়ে
That's what it must be like when you're on any of those reality shows, like Tree Throwdown or Bake Off or whatever. Yeah, I mean, they are addictive. I've been watching Woodwork quite a lot.
I've got all my fingers.
Yeah. Tidy up. Fit and tidy up. Fine.
So you fold them over at the end.
Yeah.
I think that's too short, isn't it? With the fans around in, was it?
I do it fine now.
ঠিক আছে নিজের তারপর শেখাতে হবে দিদি
Okay, 1 minute left. 1 minute left. And now I haven't
প্র্যাকটিস করতেই হয়ে একটা সব পাওয়া যায়
add the clay to part of it and then come back to like certain fingers, you know, and not do them right now.
কাটি দিয়ে টাকা দিয়ে টাকা দিয়ে তাও ভালো হচ্ছে এগুলো জিনিসগুলো
Okay, I think that's time. If you can multitask and watch and listen to Nandita and Trim, that's fine. But I think it's over to Nandita now for the next stage.
Okay, so now what we have to do with this hand is to cover it. So the material that will be used to cover is the clay mixed with husk. So now Dolon will just do the mixture so that you can see how it's done. The clay has been soaked in a bit of water as a kind of get ahead. So otherwise normally you have to first soak the clay, wet it, knead it, and then mix the husk in.
So are you going to demonstrate that before we do it?
Yes, she's about to begin. পুরোটা দেখাও
এগুলো একটু দিয়ে দাও মাটিতে না না মাটি অর্ধেকটা কর আর তো জল একটু বেশি করে দিয়ে এখন অসুবিধা এটার সঙ্গে এটা মেশানো হবে না না মেশাতে হবে আরো খানিকটা এর সঙ্গে মেশাবো না আজ এইটা সরিয়ে তো হবে এটা একটা ওই দিকে সরিয়ে
Because this place is air conditioned, the clay has again dried out, so they are having to again add water and soften it. পা দিয়ে মাখতে হলে মাখো, কিন্তু বালতির মধ্যে ধুয়ে নিতে হবে পরে।
ফাতিমা কি আমি দিচ্ছি অসুবিধা ফাতিমা
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ মাখো।
করে নি
Should these guys begin as well, kneading the clay and adding some water, or keep watching?
Yes, I think that will get it ahead.
বাতি তো আমরা এবার মাটিটা রেডি করলাম এরপরে হাত আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে
So this clay with water, after it's kneaded nicely, is the first layer that goes onto armature. Then after that, the husk is mixed, and then that's the second layer. So do you want us to wait a bit until you get ready with the clay? Lucy?
Yeah, yes, if you can just hold fire so they can mix the clay, that would be good. Yes, please.
না না ওগুলো হচ্ছে কিনতে পাওয়া যায় দেশে জল দিয়ে মাখতে হবে শক্ত শক্ত করতে জল মেশাতে হবে
Your clay needs more water. It looks too dry because see, this has to be the base, very light layer.
এটাই হচ্ছে বলছি সিরামিক মাটিটা নরম মতো হাল তৈরি করতাম জল দিয়ে ভালো করে একটু মেখে নিতে হবে। পুরো মাখার দরকার নেই।
I think use the amount of clay and just get one portion ready, because there's a lot of work left to do. It's very hard and not so, usable. Just take a bit of it and just get it ready. Yeah.
নিচে ওটা মাখতে পারছে না, একটু নিতে হবে, অল্প করে নিতে হবে। আমাদের ওখানে কেবল একটু নিয়ে নিলাম। করে দিচ্ছে মগে করে আর জল দিচ্ছে না, ঢেলে দিচ্ছে বালতি করে।
No, the first mix is without the husk, and then the husk is added.
লাগাচ্ছি না, কে দেখছি।
There's lots of smiles coming from India.
The clay looks very kind of sticky and the best way to do this would be with the feet.
With your feet. Anyone want to get in there with your feet?
No, sorry.
The train.
Yeah, it looks artificial, Martin.
Yeah,
Martin.
সেই কত যায় না জানিস?
Yeah, also with clay extracted from the.
এটাই আমি চাইছিলাম, যেটা পা দিয়ে দেবো।
Now we are impressed.
পরে হাতের সঙ্গে ওইভাবে
Okay, do you think they might be ready?
Yeah, I think that's better. A little bit more water. Is it at a consistency now so that you can layer the hand?
How thin a layer is? Do you want to show us now how thin
Okay, so
or thick a layer so we know?
just দেখাও একটু যে কত পাতলা করতে হবে, হাতে কতটা নিয়েছো ওইটা দেখাও। See, have a look at what she has in her hand.
Yep. These guys are confident they're there.
Yeah. Get off the feet.
Yeah, yours is a little bit wetter. So it's got to kind of spread, I guess, when it gets on the straw rather than like.
Yeah, it's got to spread.
লাগাচ্ছি দিদি
Huh. So each time you apply it, you just put a bit of water into hand. Can you see how it's spread?
Should we try it?
কিন্তু কোনো মাটি লাগছে না, জাস্ট মুছে এটাকে ঢেকে দিচ্ছি।
Yeah, that's nice.
When you think of the erosion process that we're aiming for at the end of the project and having this kind of residue of clay, like this starts to have that kind of energy, you know?
I think a lot of dilution then. So even with the layer a bit thick, that already ওটা কত smooth হয়ে যাবে from Intel.
কিন্তু বেশি মোটা করে দেন না কেন দিদি?
It should be very thin, like a, you know, putting a mask on your face. The one on the right, Jim's, is a little thick.
Why does the first layer have to be so thin?
Because, you know, otherwise the shape of the whole thing will go because there are going to be 2 more layers. Now, because your clay is of a different kind, I don't know whether you can even the process. Because this clay seems to already
হবে না। পরে পরে সরে চলে আসবে নিজে নিজে। হ্যাঁ, খসে পড়ে যাবে। এরা তো ইয়ে চায়না ক্লের সঙ্গে ওইসব মেশানো আছে। বাবু দাদা একটু লাগিয়ে নি করা, তারপর আবার
It's not a China clay. It's UK. It's terracotta.
But it's something, you know, which has a lot of ingredients that make it more finished.
Yeah, this has been bought from a clay supplier, basically ready for working and firing, and so there'll be no impurities in it at all.
Yeah. So the issues here are that, say, if we left it at the level at which we have now, as soon as it dries, it's going to just disintegrate.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not sure that's what's going to happen with this clay that you're using.
Ours will disintegrate, or yours would disintegrate.
Ours.
Okay.
Which is why we bind it with husk.
Oh, okay. So it's important to get this and the husk layer on together.
Yeah, and after that, smoothing with the cloth.
Okay.
So now where we are in the process is that we've done the first layer. That layering, when it dries up, begins to look like this hand.
Okay.
So now Dolon's going to put husk on the hand we made today, and after that we'll treat this hand.
So just sorry. When the husks are added, it will look like the hand on the left or the one in the center.
No,
The one on the left. Okay.
so now she's mixing the husk
She's adding husks in.
into the clay.
বেশি করে নিই।
So there's quite a lot of husked clay, isn't there?
Looks like a 1:1, but there's, it's like finally the consistency that you want. So
Yeah.
there's no fixed amount as such.
দেখ তুই পেরে যাবি, তোর হাতগুলো শক্ত না। দেখা নাহলে ওরা কি করে টাইম দিতে হবে। টাইম দিতে হবে না, হ্যাঁ ওইটা ফিতে লাগাতে কতটুকু সময় লাগবে, হয়েই যাবে এক্ষুনি। দেখ ও বেচারা করেই যাচ্ছে এখনো হাতটা। কাট হয়ে যাবে কিন্তু হ্যাঁ কুমোরটুলি মতো কুমোরটুলি ওদের তো বলিস না, সব দিন নম্বরই করে আগে করতো 1 নম্বরই, আর 1 নম্বরই কাজ করতে সব 2 নম্বরই কাজ করে। বড় বড় শিল্পীরাই করছে এরকম, আর কিচ্ছু ভালো লাগে না দিদি মাটির সঙ্গে এইসব শুধু ওরা ওইসব কিনে পয়সা নষ্ট করে, খাতে না পাইকারি হারে আলু পটলের মতো। বাবু হয়ে গেছে, এটাকে এবার দেখাবো। দেখলাম দারুণ লাগছে কিন্তু দিদি জানেন, গাছের মতো করে দেখুন ও অনেকগুলো সব বার করেছে। অনেক ভালোটা ঠিকই করেছে। একসঙ্গে রেখেছি তাই জন্য তাতেই তো টেনে দিচ্ছি জলটা।
husk, definitely.
Lucy,
Yeah.
I'd like to get to the bathroom. Do you think you might have to sort of go and tiptoe through and wash it after?
Yeah, well, there's a bucket of towel.
Okay, cool. Yeah, great.
I got this. I'll grab it.
Sponge there.
Jim, you'll have the same for the husk, so wash it after that.
Yeah, but I need to go.
He needs loo.
So now you can begin to mix the clay with the husk.
Okay, get in there with the husk.
Yeah, you need to put a lot more husk, but as you need, like making a cake, you just fold it in. And some water. দেখো ওদের মাথা টাকাগুলো ঠিক করে দিতে।
আরো দিতে হবে, আর কি জলে দিতে হবে।
And some water. Because again, you have to be able to layer with it. ওদের হাঁসটা একই প্রায়, একই রংটা।
গমের দিদি আমাদের গুলো ধানের।
Your husk is from wheat, right? Lucy?
Yes.
But our husk is from rice. Oi.
হ্যাঁ, সেসব তো দেখলাম। হ্যাঁ, পাঠাতে তো সব। এটাই আবার ইয়ে করলো, বেক করেছিল, ব্রেড অনেক কিছু বানালো। সেই ইডলি বানিয়েছিল মাটিয়ে। হ্যাঁ, আমি সেটাই তো বললাম, ওটা একটা অন্যরকম শেপ দিয়েছে। তো মনে হচ্ছে গাছ। ভালোই লাগবে না, আঙুলের মধ্যে তারপরে নিজেরা।
You need a lot more water. It's too dry. I think you don't need any more mixture, so you can stop mixing the husk, but just add water so that it's uniform.
His feet really need them.
Perhaps you could just see the consistency you need to reach.
ভালো করে
As in, you'll show us? You're going to show us, yeah?
Dolon, একটু উঁচু করে দেখাও।
Okay, so yeah, quite sticky, but pulls
Yeah.
apart quite easily.
Yeah.
Your ours looks what? It might, yeah. Do you want to? Why don't you do it? Can you zoom in on Zoe? And do you want to show the camera ours? Okay, Zoe's demonstrating the consistency of ours. It's maybe a little bit wetter.
No, this looks good.
হাঁস মেশালে ভালো।
Yeah.
Just put a bit more of husk and make it, you just mix it well. That's all. Little bit more husk.
Okay. Yes, as in
এটাকে টেরাকোটা মাটি বলে।
এটার ওটা ওরা সবাই ওই হুইলে কাজ করে। হ্যাঁ, ও ও মানে ওরা ইয়ে করে না, পোড়ানো টোড়ানো করে না, পোড়াবে। হ্যাঁ,
Yeah, we don't need more quantities. We don't put any more. It's a lot. আমি যদি একদিনও করি আমাকে 1 সপ্তাহ হসপিটাল।
কেউ তো একটা বিশাল জিনিস, একটা বিশাল, তাই না? তাহলে আর ওই যারা কুলি আর একটা আইএস এর সঙ্গে পার্থক্য কোথায়, তাই না? তবুও না কিছু কিছু মানুষ অকারণ মেঘমালার বাবা যেরকম কিছু করে না। আমি কথা বলি, মহিকমালা কিন্তু আবার আমি বলেছি তোমার মতো যেন না হয়, তুমি হয়েছো ঠিক আছে মেয়ে, ও কি ওকে সব শিখতে হবে আবার না। আমি সেই মহিকমালার মাধ্যমিক হলেও আমি তোমার আমার সঙ্গে মাটির কাজ করবে, ওই পরীক্ষা হয়ে গেলে আর 3 মাস থেকে রান্না শিখবে বলে দিয়েছি ওকে। তারপরে তুমি ফেল পাস করে কোথায় যাবে আমি তো জানি না, তখন তোমাকে গিয়ে খেতে দেবে। শ্যাম তো গাড়ি চালাতে জানে। হ্যাঁ, ও আমাকে বলেছে শিখিয়ে দেবে, তো দেখি কিনবেন আমি শেখাবো।
So should they start smearing this husk layer on to the hands?
Just take a little bit and make it very evenly kneaded. Then just show us what you've made so that we can tell the.
Zoe, did you hear Nandita?
Yeah.
হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে।
তুমি লাগাও।
নামাও।
Yeah, let us also do the same thing. You can see the way she's focus on. You can tell that. নিয়ে লাগাও না, বুঝে লাগাও যাতে ওরা দেখে। দোলন ঘোরাও লাগাতো ওটা তো আস্তে আস্তে। So you have to throw it onto the hand and just press it firmly and make it smooth. কিভাবে এটা বানাচ্ছো আগে দেখাও। See the way she's making like a cake of dung and then putting it on.
Okay, everyone got that description?
Yeah.
Use up what you've got and then mix them more. I like the texture it's giving with the husk. I'm enjoying the texture with the husk. It looks good. I mean, I know that will be covered eventually, but still.
At this stage, you can actually shape the hand into the proportions you want. You know, if it's too thin, too thick. And the smoothening is like, you can see what Dolon is doing. It is very firm upward strokes.
এটা হবে না তো, তাই না দিদি? অল্প দিয়ে, হ্যাঁ সেটা দাও। হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, একটু দিয়ে দেবো, অল্প একটু দিয়ে দিচ্ছি, একদম পুরোকে নিয়ে চলে আসে।
We have 20 minutes to go. So what I propose is that we let this stage go and move on to the semi-finished hand and do the final stage, because we have to run on time.
আর কোনো দরকার নেই, এটার উপরে ওঠা।
Okay, that sounds good.
হ্যাঁ সেটা তো, সেটা তো ওইখানে নিয়ে চলে আসে, এখানে সেকেন্ড টাইম।
Okay, so we should just watch for a minute, should we?
Yeah, just I'll just take you through it. এটাকে নামাও। আর ওই
বালি, ঠিক আছে, বালি মাটিটা ওইটা আনবো।
In this final layer of clay, add a bit of salt, sand. So it's already mixed and brought. Just a sprinkling of sand into the clay.
And that's just the clay without husks, right?
You see, this clay is just dug out of the earth. So,
Okay.
you know, look at your clay. I don't think it needs so many processes.
Okay.
Sure, whether you really need that.
Well, I guess you're adding sand, and all the sand would have been taken out. So
Yeah, but you know, I'm wondering whether you actually need the husking process. It just could have been a thicker layer of the first, and then the cloth.
okay. What do you think, Zoe, in terms of cracking? Yes, Zoe thinks it would still crack. I do.
খুব ভালো হয়।
It's very smooth and it's nicely kneaded. So there's no kind of impurity, nothing. It looks like the clay you began with at the moment. It is
মাটিতে 200 গ্রাম বালি মেশাবে।
So it's like about 1:8 proportion of sand to clay. So just very little. Chalo, chalo, lagao time.
Okay.
Just a thin layer is put on the husk after it dries.
কেটে গেছে এইগুলো বন্ধ
So the purpose of doing this is that all the cracks that form while the hand dries,
সেইগুলো
that has to all be filled so that it comes to this smooth stage.
So again, this is a very fine surface layer. So the form would have already been created with the husk layer, and this is like this kind of thin skin just following the existing form.
Yeah.
আমি তো কোনো ইটেল মাটিতে গোলাই কাপড় দিতে লাগাবো
After this comes the clay with the cloth, which is kind of like very liquidy. So she's going to mix that and show you how liquid it is.
দেখিয়ে দিচ্ছি আমি করিনি তারপরে দেখিয়ে দেবো
So this layer you're putting on now is coming straight out of the bag, and then you're making a wetter kind of slip, which you'll add cloth to. Is that right?
Yes. So the purpose of the current layer is to fill the cracks, and the purpose of the last layer is to just make it completely smooth. So the last layer is mostly water and absolutely evenly mixed clay into it. It's a sticky kind of clay that we get from near the Kumartuli area.
So like a slip, is it consistent? You know, the
Yes.
kind of mix will be consistent. There won't be kind of lumps and then more watery bits. It will all be kind of even, like a
No
syrup
lump.
or something.
That's why inside the mug, she's just breaking all the lumps with her hands. মগের ভেতরটা দেখো। See, you can see the way she's kneading it into the water so that there is absolutely no lump, nothing left.
মোটামুটি ওটা ভিজিয়ে দেয় পুরোটা হ্যাঁ পুরো ওরা তো শুধু হাত বানাবে না ওরা অনেক
And in Kolkata weather, is it kind of would the ham be left to dry for 24 hours with the husk layer before adding the next layer, or is it less or more?
Easily.
Easily 24 hours.
Yeah, because this clay takes a long time to dry. Now the weather is not humid, so it will dry quicker. Plus, we are in an air-conditioned space. But normally, when the Durga Puja happens, a very rainy time, so they have to use fans, and it takes 2-3. So they add dendrite and all kinds of, fevicol and epoxy glues instead of all this husk and things, so that it just works faster.
Okay.
Why it's so detrimental for immersion.
Yeah.
Okay, এই যে কাপড়গুলো রেডি করছে এগুলো দেখাও। So she's creating these little pieces of very thin cotton. উঁচু করে দেখাও।
This process is actually really important as well, and it's unless
Yes.
I'd been there, I wouldn't have realised it happened. You can't see it.
So just very thin muslin, pure cotton. You just take it into little pieces, and then you drape the armature with that cloth and put the slip over it.
Was it on the list? Was it on the shopping? Oh, I didn't see it.
It's in Muslim.
Yeah, I didn't see it. A paper towel.
একটা সুতোও যেন বেশ
You have to be very careful that none of the strings and threads from the piece of cloth are hanging, because otherwise it will all spoil the smoothness of the finish.
It's really quite interesting, actually. I think because we've got to let this layer dry anyway, you won't be able to do that today.
স্ক্রিনটা সাথে তো হয়নি।
Also, I guess the slower the drying process, the less.
ছবি তুলে আমাকে দিয়ে দেবে। তাই না শ্যাম?
শিক্ষা দিয়েছে। But ভিতরে
আচ্ছা বলতে জল নিয়ে নাও হাতে। হাতটা নিয়ে চলে আসবে না বাবু আর ওখানে লাগবে।
সরিয়ে দাও যাতে ওই মাটি ডালাপালা যাতে দেখতে পায়। Okay, so now we'll start the layering with the cloth. Have a look how it's done. ওদের দিকে ফিরিয়ে করো, তোমার দিকে না। হাতটা ঘোরাও না, চাপটা দিকটা ওদের দিকে করো, চাপটা দিকটা ওদের দিকে করো। এবারে লাগাও, আরো কাছে আনো, দুলনের হাত কি করে যাবে। So you just dip the textile into the slip, wipe away all the extra, and then swaddle it. দেখাও কিভাবে নগের মধ্যে করছে। তুমি একটু হাতটা ছাড়ো। দেখাও ওদের দেখাও রং করে এটা ভালো। See what Shyam is doing, he is taking one piece of cloth, putting on his palm, and then draping it around the finger.
I remember this being a lot harder than it looks.
Yes. it can't wrinkle or it can't, just land on the hand all folded.
I think Nandita, at bang on 11:30, we'll kind of wrap up the live stream, and then we can
Yes.
take a few minutes to, discuss kind of next steps and things before we, before we kind of cut the
But
Zoom
I
link
think-
as well.
Minutes because they need the space to be emptied.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, I mean, in the last few minutes, what is there anything else that you guys kind of want to share, or that we should know if people want to kind of continue to work on these pieces, or obviously start some others potentially?
It's important. You now basically have the kind of steps and the structure, and since each one is an artist, I'm sure they're going to try a bit less, string, some new way of working with it. There's really nothing hard and fast. For us, it's like the clay we use is a very impure kind of just dug from the garden clay. So I think it would be interesting to explore at what steps can be eliminated with clay that, because it already seems to be quite smooth, and I don't know whether you need this cloth process at the end at all.
Does the cloth process help to...
But these have to be tried.
But the cloth kind of so there's the thin layer goes on to seal the cracks, and then the cloth kind of finish layer also kind of, I guess, holds it together and stops it cracking, right?
Noticing that when you put your first layer, that itself, the clay was already, like a very homogeneous kind of a finished thing. But somehow it lacks the organic attractiveness of the clay here. It looks like imperfect and very homogeneous. And I don't know, maybe I'm just used to this one.
Yeah, we could use more of an earthenware. Interestingly, the clay that we dug up locally is very red like this. It is really similar to this kind of terracotta. But yeah, we could source other clay. So I think the red is more. If you look at a lot of the red brick buildings in the area as well that have been kind of made historically, we can't see under here, but yeah, this is kind of, even if this particular clay isn't local, this style of clay is quite local. And Zoe and I have been working on another project using this clay, and actually the cracking issues are the same, and the slower drying helps. And I think anything where you've got a kind of certain amount of volume, it's gonna crack. So I suspect that the same processes are still required.
Right. Okay. So one just has to kind of go through with the steps with both the different materials and find out how it reacts. I don't think one can preempt. But say right now, it's entirely a process of just finishing and smoothing it so that it looks like the finish on the table.
And then do you draw in the nails on top of and the kind of creases on top of that fabric layer?
I'll just request the cameraman to focus on the nails of the finished hand. Then you can see.
Is that done whilst it's wet? This stage that you're at now, would it be done then?
যখন একটু ভিজে থাকে তখন
এইটাই এরপরেই তো এই যে ইয়েটা দেওয়া হলো, যে কাপড়টা দেওয়া হলো, তারপরে
Do any of you guys want to say anything?
এটা ক্লিপে নিলে হয়ে যাবে। না, বলছি শুকনোর পরে আবার লেপে দিলে হয়ে যাবে। ক্লিপটা লেপে দিয়ে দিলে 2 days, after 2 days.
In the kind of Indian conditions,
we
So
can't
in-
hear you. It dropped off.
Yeah. So in the Indian conditions, you need between the husk stage and this cloth stage 2 days of drying, because it has to really dry from right inside. Otherwise, again, the cracks will start appearing.
রোদ উঠলে 2 দিন, না উঠলে
And then to mark on the nails, that would be done as
Right
part
now.
as part of the work we're doing now. Okay.
The that she's going through now, it would be done at this point. They just put with an etching pen or a knife, you do the design.
Okay. I think there's a couple of questions from the floor.
And if the hand has dried up, what she says that if you put the slip again on it, then you can make designs or whatever else you need.
Hello, Nandita and Dolon. I wanted to ask, you said the husk clay has to be dry before you add the cotton slip, the cotton fabric. Can you ask whether it has to be properly dry or leather hard dry or firm dry?
Properly dry for
Properly
2 days
dry.
in India.
Okay, okay.
So if you wanted part of your design for it to be like really cracked, you could just go ahead and do it faster.
Yeah. If you want the impact to be of a cracked piece, then you don't do all this smoothening.
আমি এটা রেখেছি
Yeah.
হাত পা ধোয়ার।
Dolon,
Thank you.
any other questions?
Any other questions? No. Do you have any questions for us?
Not yet.
Well, on behalf of everyone over here in Coventry in the UK, I would like to thank you all so much. Thank you, Dolon, Shyam, Nandita as well. Thank you to the Kolkata Centre for Creativity for hosting. We are in awe of your skills. This has been just a small insight into how hard it is to make something so beautiful and effortless. And should we give a round of applause and thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. And it's always more learning when one is able to kind of separate step-by-step stages and teach someone. These are things we take for granted. But even me, who's been in this for so long, learn something really deep and interesting when one shares it with a new set of people who haven't exposed themselves to it. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you to Gaurav and the camera person and Devayon, who's done the technology here, for making this all possible. Thank you very much.
And I must jump in as well and say to Chris and Dave at Media Mania and Imagineer for hosting here as well. Thank you guys too. And we'll see you soon, hopefully, in the UK.
Yes, Boris Johnson says so. So far.
Okay, great. Take care, guys.
Go have your breakfast a little late.